old were you when you started thinking about retirement? I was 33 years old, married, a mother of two, living in a high-cost living area, unemployed, and experiencing a global pandemic. Luckily, I had invested some money in my early 20s in a 403b with a previous employer, and that money had grown thanks to compound interest. However, my husband was 32 years old without $1 in a 401k or an IRA. Yet, here we are, a year later and on track to retiring at the age of 47. How did we go from not really thinking about retirement to now having a plan to retire early within 15 years? We learned about FIRE. FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. It's a movement that encourages people to live below their means so they have more money to invest towards early retirement. See, before I started to learn about FIRE, I thought retirement happened at a certain age. More specifically, I thought people got to retire at the age of 65 if they had access to a pension or because Social Security would start to cover all of their living expenses. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. We can't retire comfortably until we have enough passive income to cover our annual expenses. Realizing this scared me. I started to worry that my husband and I would never have enough passive income to sustain our lifestyle in our 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s since we had not been investing consistently. However, the FIRE movement made me realize that if we could become intentional about living below our means, then we could start investing more in order to comfortably retire at some age. Retirement planning had become a numbers game for us. By calculating our FIRE number, we now had a goal that made retirement planning fun. We got excited about living below our means so that we could max out our retirement accounts for the next 15 years and retire early. But you may be asking, what's a FIRE number and how do you calculate it? Your FIRE number is the total number of assets that you need to accumulate in order to live off of passive investment income. Your assets may come from stock dividends, interest-paying bonds, rental income, or anywhere that doesn't require you showing up to a 9-to-5 job. To calculate your FIRE number, you want to take your total annual living expenses and divide it by 0.03. After doing the math, I realized that if my husband and I moved to a less expensive area with annual expenses of $60,000, our FIRE number is $1.5 million. However, if we stay living in a high-cost living area with $120,000 in annual expenses, our FIRE number is $3 million. What's your FIRE number? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about how this formula was generated or how to calculate your annual expenses, head over to time.com/nextadvisor for more.